Yeah, it's not finished. No,
Welcome to
no,
the
no.
club.
I spent a fortune to have this company build this thing, right? And two careers just absolutely crushes your life. So by
Oh,
the time I get home to work on it, it's like, sometimes when I'll do overtime, sometimes it's 2 o'clock in the morning, and I'm like,
oh, sure.
oh shit, it's 6 a.m. Oh, yeah, that happens a lot, guys.
Hey, no worries at all. I was just looking for more information on you. That's all. I got your IMDb pulled
IMDb.
up and whatnot, and like your SoundCloud and your Amazon and whatnot. But we like to obviously uh,
I think you have my IMDb page.
yeah. We like to, make sure that you get the chance to promote your stuff as well. So,
Thank you.
Just why
you'll,
we
you'll,
are live, just to give you a heads up. Just want to jump in
Okay.
and just mention that.
You'll see in the VOD of this that we have like an overlay set up, and then we have like basically the stuff that you gave me. It'll be listed right above.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, should be able to hear me. Magmorta, hello. Nice to see you out there. All right, let's go ahead.
Check.
Yeah, I can hear you.
I was checking out Audacity.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, good call. And starting mine. All right. It's 12 o'clock. Let's get this show on the road. Thank you for everybody that's here already. And Anthony, thanks for your time.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
No worries. Here goes the intro. Let's have a great show.
Hello, and welcome back to Cold Read the podcast. I'm going to start off this intro with a bit of a confession. I'm running short on advice to give that pertains directly to voice acting. It's kind of crappy to say, but I have not been focused on voice acting as of late in favor of pursuing audio things, as most of you know. Regardless, I still want to keep giving you all some type of advice that will help you in turning your passion into a career. So let's talk about workflow and how to better utilize your time, which is something I've been drilling into my head for the past year and am still trying to improve upon. As you continue to acquire more and more work, you may find that your time becomes an incredibly precious resource. but there are definitely things that we can do to retain as much of that resource as possible. Firstly, when it comes to recording auditions, I cannot recommend using templates enough. That is, if your DAW allows for templates, which most do. All you need to do is set up a channel with whatever plugins you prefer to use, change whatever settings you wish, and then save that as your template. Imagine the time you will be saving by not having to do that every single time you record. Like, it's insane. In the instance in which you're using a DAW that does not support using templates, simply make a project file that is just kind of your base recording setup and use that every single time. Secondly, mark your audio audibly. Doing something like a snap or a clap right next to your mic will make it peak, and you can use this to mark good takes, bad takes, whatever you want. I personally use this to mark when I'm done doing takes for a certain line. Some people get a dog clicker and use that since it's fairly loud, but you know, do whatever you wish. Doing this makes the editing process so much simpler. This way, you do not need to go back and listen through every single take you just recorded. You'll just know which one is the right one right away. Which leads me into number 3, and this is a bit of a weird one and doesn't apply to every situation, but work through your takes in the reverse order that you recorded them. Again, we're all about saving time here, and I imagine that most folks will know when they have a good take and will move on to the next line after they've got it. This is just a means to locate which take or takes that you want right away. Now, there's some other little tidbits that I did not include in this script, things that you can learn to do that will help improve your workflow further. For instance, a very small one, I record all of my auditions into one single project file. That way I can just do everything I need to as far as the auditions go there and not have to separate them out into their own little project files, because that's time and we're saving time here. So how does all of this look combined together? Well, here is my personal process on recording and editing, bearing in mind that, again, I record all auditions into one file, meaning that I don't take the time to switch between project files. I open up my DAW, I load up my template, and I'm ready to record. I press record and keep recording until I'm done with whatever character I am auditioning for. I clap or snap after I am done doing takes for one line so that I will know which lines are which in editing. After I'm done recording, I sit down at my desk and I start working through the takes, starting at the last one recorded, and cut out any takes that I do not wish to submit. Then after all that's done, consolidate the audio to combine it all together, export it out, and send it. Simplifying your workflow and giving yourself more of your time back means that you'll be able to pump out auditions even faster, and you'll have more free time. In keeping things simple and efficient, you are creating a better, stress-free environment for yourself. So please, if you value your mental health in any capacity, and you should, improve your workflow. So if you guys couldn't tell, my voice is extremely hoarse. I've been doing a lot of auditions today after not having done any auditions for quite some time, so we're gonna move it right along into the show with your hosts, Zamoody, wave hi Zamoody, Renara, wait, what the hell is that on the wall behind? Never mind. And as always, that guy that always tells you to drink your water, but does not even bother to mention how much you will need to piss if you drink the amount of water that he wants you to. Anyways, fuck you, future me, and take it away, folks.
Hello, welcome. Thank you for being here. This is the recording of Cold Read the Podcast. Since you said it, I have to do this.
I need to use the bathroom.
See, this is your fault. So, welcome those that are here. Thanks to those that are watching live. Keep in mind that we do broadcast this every Sunday on YouTube at our channel, Cold Read the Podcast. If you'd like to join us, then please feel free to do so. If not, just hopefully you're catching the video, you're catching us on anywhere you listen to your podcasts. We are so happy to have you all here. Real quick, thank you Magmorta for being our mod today. Fire and Brimstone, hello. Welcome everybody else that is here. If you have any questions, anything you want us to talk about, please feel free to email us, coldreadthepodcast@gmail.com, or you can join our community. Come on over, enjoy Fire and Brimstone's meme of the day. The link is going to be in the description of this video. or in anywhere that you get your podcasts. We would like to hear your audio though, so if you have an opportunity, go ahead and send us anything. If you're working on maybe a demo reel, or maybe if you're working on some sort of voice or a part or an audition, we want to hear it. We're going to give you constructive feedback. We've done this to ourselves and we've used it to improve. So don't be afraid. There's no judgment here. We're not going to tell you you're terrible, run away. We will give you a very honest opinions and how to work through any issues that you might have. So please, again, don't be afraid. If you've gotten this far, do me a favor, give us a like, give us a subscribe on YouTube. We are growing our community and we're trying to move forward. So with all that said and done, I will say today's episode is brought to you by nobody. That is all. We'll get there eventually. All right. With all that said and done, I do want to say, Renara, I hope you're feeling better. We have a little bit of a graphic down that Dorino did last week for us, and we got to use.
Clarification, Renara's not missing. She is safe and fine.
Yeah, unfortunately, Renara's not feeling great, and that's fine. This happens. It's not a big deal. Thank you if you ever watch this, Renara, and I hope you're doing great. All right, well, let's check in with everybody. So, can't see Renara. So, Dorino, how's your week been?
How did my week go? It was pretty decent. I get to be that guy and try to tell everybody about the new project that you and I were involved in. So,
Yes.
So that's been cool. I don't really talk about my voice acting stuff at my day job very often because it's I don't know. I don't really care to involve people in that, but this is a big accomplishment for me, so I wanna gloat a little bit.
Am I understanding by you saying essentially you don't like the people you work with? Don't answer.
Not necessarily. It's more that I could say that and they'd be like, "Oh," and then I'd have to explain what voice acting is and
right.
all that stuff.
No.
So
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to put you in that position, but yeah.
No.
Out of curiosity, because I know I did when Spearhead, because we were both in the video game mod for Arma 3 called Spearhead 1944. Did you watch anybody playing the game and try to hear yourself?
Yes, because I'm that vain of a person, unfortunately. No, yeah. I was genuinely curious. I didn't know which of my lines were actually used.
Right.
So
same.
I did find a video the other day of some guy going over it, and I heard myself yell, "Damn it!" And so yeah, that was a little butterfly moment. But anyways, enough of my stuff. I am almost. You remember how last week I was saying, "Oh, I need to complete this album that I said I was going to do." Yeah. I am nearly done with writing at least one song. So nice. That is finally going somewhere. Very excited to show that off because it's very personal to me, and I hope other people enjoy it as well.
Awesome. Look forward to hearing it.
Yeah, so that's basically all I did. I have gotten another commission for a demo reel, but
nice.
I don't know if I'm going to accept it because I think this guy needs to spend his money on a new microphone and not a demo reel.
Nice. See, that's very nice of you to do, because other people would just take the money and just say, "Hey, here's the best I can give you with what you got."
Yes, Zamudi, but it also makes me an idiot. Yeah, I probably should just take the money and run, but I have my soul still.
That's good on you. That's good on you.
Yeah. In any case, tell me about your week, Zamudi.
Thank you. Real quick before, did anybody use the coupon code? I still have anybody yet to take me on the coupon code. Awesome. Hashtag Renara Feel Better, all one word. Put it together and you can use $20 either towards Renara services or Dorino services on me. How was my week? My week has been still super busy. I'm still dealing with some health issues. Work has been extremely busy. As in, I mean, I'm not even able to do overtime anymore because of what's going on. But in all that, my focus has really been on the show, that we're about to put on in September. We got a musical review coming up. So I had to actually move all of my equipment from my studio. My recording computer, my lights, my camera, all of it went with me. And we did like green screen recordings for gags that we're going to do during the show. So I need to edit all that together. But I mean, it's been a fun time. And you know what? I kind of needed the break. And this is, I mean, just like you said, you feel bad that when you did your intro, that you weren't doing any of the voice acting stuff, but you're concentrating on what you want to do. So, I mean, props to you.
Yeah.
But yeah. So with all that said and done, let me go ahead and say hello, Anthony Aroya. Hopefully I'm saying that correctly. Thanks for lending us your time. Before we get into your journey, I'd love to ask, how was your week?
Real nice. Workflow as far as like voiceover gigs as opposed to just auditions out has really been a lot of fun. I did some stuff for Star Trek. I was told not to talk about it, so I won't get into detail
Gotcha.
about it.
No.
It was a lot of fun. What's going on my computer screen? What is this? Sorry. Sorry for that. Those bugs. You know, getting together with a family last night and had a little fun. It was real nice week. You know, the weather wasn't hot, which I'm not an aficionado of hot weather, so that was nice. You know, the sweating, 2 showers after the first shower. You know, no good. So it was pretty good.
Oh, good. I'm glad to hear it. So let me ask you this: you're a man of many talents. So I mean, this is generally a voice acting podcast, but you have some pretty impressive stuff in your IMDb, if you don't mind me saying.
Thank you.
Can you go over how you got started in general with your careers before we jump into just the voice acting part?
When I was a kid,
Yeah.
I mean 5, I wanted to be an astronomer. Talk about a complete 180, right? I'd go out, you know, out in the streets. Oh my God, how can that stuff be up there? It doesn't fall. It's just miraculous. And then, you know, you cycle into something else, and then something else, and I started doing my own little comic strip when I was 10 years old about these insects, and they were crime fighters. You know, you draw it on line, school paper, you know. And it's like, I read a book, and I got to do Indian ink. So now I'm only 10, and I got to go buy Indian ink. And my grandfather says, "Why do you need Indian ink?" Because the book said I need it, Grandpa. I want to draw a cartoon. And then one day, I guess around 15, every girl I dated, almost without a fault, said, "You know, Tony, you should try to do like commercials and stuff."
Oh.
Nice.
Okay. Sure, sweetheart. Sure. Commercials, whatever you say, come here, right? So, you know, 16, 15, 16, 17, I'm a guy. And then I kept hearing, and I was like, yeah, sure. That's not on my radar. You know, all the guys in my family were, you know, I had Cobb's, my grandfather was the best dry cleaner in New York City. So all I knew was laborers in my family, right? For commercials, sure. I see that stuff on TV. I hear that stuff on the radio. I know it exists. Me, nah. Fast forward to my dating myself here. From being a teenager, being a guy 43. At the time, there was this newspaper called The Village Voice. Best paper in the world. I mean, whatever you wanted, whatever vice you had, you could find it there in The Village Voice. And you waited for Wednesday because you knew The Village Voice was coming out and it was free. It was really cool. So one day I'm sitting at my paying job and I'm looking at the Help Wanted section. Got a great job. Why am I looking at the Help Wanted section? I don't know. Make money with your voice.
Oh.
And they have the little picture of the hand and then the little swirl that indicates that audio is being spoken.
Yeah.
Yeah. Called up. Blah, 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 blah. It's got to be a scam. Anything that's not 9 to 5 that doesn't have your name on a check where you can take it to Chase and cash it is a scam. Right? So sure. And the guy said, I'm a headhunter for another guy, and I find, people that might have the ability to do voiceover works. I said, okay, blah, 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 blah. Fine. Sure, I'll go. Why not? I got 3 kids to feed and a woman to take care of and 2 dogs and an 80-gallon goldfish tank. But sure, I'll give it a shot. So I went. Beautiful neighborhood on the west side. And so I went, I go, I meet the guy. And this is, mind you, after having met so many fraudulent slobs who were just trying to get my money. I had fraudulent slobs who were just trying to get my money. I had this one guy, and he's, you read so beautifully, and blah, 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 blah. He's got the shirt open, and this is true. Shirt open, the gold chains. Listen, Anthony, I really think you can make it in this business. You do? Wide-eyed. And for $650,
there it is.
Oppenheimer.
Right? Yeah.
So, okay, my wife is gonna love this. $650. We had kids to feed. So I said, sure, let me go home and bounce it off my wife. I didn't even bother her with it.
Know your audience. That's good.
Frying pan, are you stupid, Tony? So, if I'm not mistaken, that was 1998.
Wow.
Right? Fast forward to 2008. I'm reading the Village Voice again. How consistent is this a decade later? Make money with your voice.
Mm-hmm.
Sure, why not? Give it a call? Yeah, sure. So they gave me the address. A true story.
Mm-hmm.
Give me the address. And I get off the train. I recognize that tree.
Mm-hmm.
I recognize that fire hydrant. Is the Hebrew Children's School.
Oh, no.
Okay. I've already bought the Metro card to get on the train. I've already taken the trip downtown. The day is beautiful. Who knows? I go to the building. There's a doorman. He's got on the exact same clothes he had on 10 years ago. So he says, yeah, go up to the side. No, the second floor.
Yeah, you're like, I know.
Just a second. And I go in, and there's the same little... This is a different guy. This is a different guy, mind you.
Okay.
But I had met him after the other guy. And it was the same price, for $650. I said, oh, here we go again. So I'm meeting him now, 10 years later.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going through the motion. He doesn't recognize me because it's a decade. It's a half a generation. He's probably seen, 5,000 other people after that.
Yeah.
And then he says, for $950, now mind you, $650 almost drove me into a freaking catatonic trance.
Right.
So $950, and it hit me. 10 years later, inflation.
Yeah.
See, now I'm more of an adult because I'm 10 years old, and I realize, A, nothing's for free, as I try to beg my children to understand, nothing's for free. If it's easy, it's sleazy, that old saying used to be. Okay, what do I do with this? Do I not try to pursue this because I might be able to do it? Because I wasn't sure.
Right.
Or do I just crash and burn and go nowhere fast? It's tax time. I'm gonna be rich. I have 5 claims.
I know that feeling.
I don't know if you guys have ever had 5 claims. I would go down the street and just throw down the bills. So I said, I can afford this.
Yeah.
A few times over, right? So I the money. Here's what I learned meeting this gentleman. That time his name was Daniel Jaffe, right? And he taught the New York Voiceover Success Program. I had met him after the first guy, so now my armor's on. Everybody's after my little bit of bread that my children need for toothpaste and toilet paper. I'm not giving it up. So I was already on defensive, right?
Right.
He was never trying to rip me off. I had to be trained out of talking like a New Yorker. Everything before I did voiceover training was walk, talk, door, floor, WA at the back
Yeah.
of everything, right?
Yeah.
Cost effective. He didn't give any promises. He just said, I think you can do well in this business and we'll give it a try. And, and then you go on about your business and we'll see. I'll see how you go in the next 5 to 6 years. And nice guy.
Yeah.
When I first started this, and it's 20 feet in that direction, I was recording in front of a bay window into a laundry bin that big. Went downtown to a store that should not exist anymore. It's called the Fulton Street Foam Company on Canal Street in Manhattan. I don't know if you've ever seen the movie, the original Lorax from Dr. Seuss. I'm not moving. The hell with you, I'm not moving. Cut down the forest, and they build this metropolis over the Lorax's house. You go downtown and see the Fulton Company Foam Company. They have built New York over the last 5 decades. And the Fulton Street Foam Company is the Lorax. Not chained. You go inside, it's so old-fashioned. So I brought 8 feet of foam, and I said, enough of this. 5 years of this arduous stuff, recording in front of a window. Why don't those kids across the street shut up? They're school kids. Why don't those buses use anti-quiet noise reduction? You're recording in front of a window.
Right.
There's noise.
Right.
5 years of doing this. 5. One day, I go to put something in my mother's closet. Scarf, blouse, whatever it is. And I push the clothes down to hang it up. Oh, crap. This is the Empire State Building. Her closet was twice the size and depth of mine.
Oh, wow.
Her clothes and put them on the living room sofa. What are you doing? I'm turning your closet into my official, professional recording booth. Close. I'll go downtown to Home Depot and get you a rolling wardrobe or something, but that has to be my soundboard. Bought more foam to put it around, and the confidence level skyrocketed because now I closed the door and I'm sweating, mind you. So now I'm under the understanding that noise now is not going to be a problem in or out because I'm perspiring. That's when you know that air is just, this is the air you got, buddy, until you finish recording. Don't pass out. This is it, right? 800 cubic square feet or whatever it is. And it's just great. I feel relaxed and I can make a mistake. And mind you, I was the guy at the beginning of doing voiceover who would make a mistake, hit stop, delete the entire job.
Oh.
Scratch. The jobs that take me 90 seconds, and this is the God's honest, to do now would have taken me an hour and a half because they didn't know.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, the magic of editing.
And let it roll and just go, and you, as you said before, you just mark it with a sound, and then you go and you go, I don't want that, I don't want that, I don't want that. Now it's great.
Yeah.
So that was my journey into voiceover, and I love every minute of it. It's the most fun, and I'll go on record as saying this, the most fun way to make money with your clothes on. Or off if you want to, recording your BVDs, but, it's all up to you. But it really is a great profession to be in. And it is a profession because not everybody, believe me, not everybody can do it.
And it's funny that you say that because I know a couple episodes back we were talking about having, getting into the room and you're sweaty and the amount of clothes that slowly starts flying off as you're inside because recording in the summer is just dreadful. Now, I don't care where you're at, whether it be West Coast, East Coast, wherever. You're eventually going to have one of those nights where you are just like drenched in sweat and take a shower after you're done.
It's a nightmare.
Oh yeah, 100%.
You can't really have a cooling fan in there because any slight whir.
Yeah.
Like I'll tell my family I'll be recording and say, listen, what you thought wasn't a noise, my perfect Blue Yeti, pitch perfect Blue Yeti microphone picked it up. Mm-hmm. And they said, really? I said, yeah. So,
yeah.
I do my best work 2 a.m. anyway because there's not even any ambient noise really outside, and the kids upstairs and running around. Hopefully they're asleep.
Yeah. I've been there. I used to have my studio was on a different floor next to a very busy street, so I'd have to, be recording, and in the middle of it, even if it was a good take, you just hear this, whoom. It's like, oh. So I started recording, at 10 o'clock to 2 a.m. So I 100% understand where you're coming from. Very cool. I mean, that's, by the way, great way of opening your interview. I appreciate that.
That was like the best intro to voice acting story I think we've ever heard.
Right?
Like I was so engaged, like edge of my seat kind of thing.
The journey, man. The journey to get from there to like, now I know what I'm doing. I know how to edit. I know how to splice. I taught myself sound editing. I have a new skill.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's cool.
Exactly.
That's a huge skill too.
Mm-hmm.
Mind you, I didn't mean to cut into you. I live by WavePad software. NCH WavePad. Don't know if you've ever heard of it. They're an Australian company. I live by their video software, their audio software. I live by it. Years ago, I tried to get into Audacity. Hated it because I couldn't. It was so staticky and hated it. So I left it alone for years. Something happened to Audacity.
Yes.
And now I can't live without it. I have learned how to make music beds underneath voiceover reels, and now I'll put that on the resume. Yes, I can make music interludes for you easily, and it feels good because, again, a new skill, and Audacity got back on my radar after a decade of not being on it. Easily a decade.
It's very good software. Unfortunately, I mean, it's gotten a bad rap ever since the newest versions, but I mean, I think we all started in Audacity at some point or another.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's free. So.
Yeah, the price is right.
Yeah, the $0 price point really makes a difference, especially when you're like, looking at pro software, which is minimum 150 maybe.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So Anthony, let me ask you. So you've jumped into this journey. You got obviously some coaching, which is, I mean, it's great. You're right. It does kind of sound like a scam sometimes, but I'm glad that worked out for you. How did you get your first gig? Because I want to say, because I mean, obviously I've got your MDP page up. House of the Dead Overkill. I know I spent a lot of quarters in that particular arcade playing those games, and that kind of dates me out too, because I would still enjoy those type of shooter games. How did you land that job?
First of all, I've been with the same agency, Avanti Talent Management, since 2008, through a mixer, a meet and greet. A lot of fun. Those mixers are a lot of fun. And met the guy that ran the agency at the time, Sandy Gunner, who is no longer with us because COVID decided to come knocking on his door as it was ebbing away. It caught him going out the door. And he was a great guy to work for, so now his family members have taken it over. So I started with Avanti Talent in 2008, and they would get me auditions, okay. But I'm not the guy. Life is funny. I don't know how often people pray, but I think if you believe in God, and I do, he hates lazy. Dear God, send me a woman, but you don't leave your house to meet women. Dear God, get me a job, but you don't fill out any job applications. You got to help the guy out. So I said, well, I'm not going to wait around for Avanti to send me auditions. I don't like being in stasis, immobile, and I like to be out there doing my own thing. So I'm looking through Craigslist.
No
of
way.
All things. Of all things. You would believe the jobs I found on Craigslist, and they paid me. And a cousin of mine said, it's because you carry yourself. So dude, now that the job is over, man, so how long do you think it's going to take the payment to come through? Maybe a week, Mr. Roy. So I think when you put that physicality out there without really putting it out there, they understand paying me or it's a broken ankle.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at Craigslist, and it's like, video game characters wanted. Always wanted to do that. Always loved Alan Reed. He did the voice for Fred Flintstone.
Yes.
Sure. And I said, well, okay, let me try video game characters. We hit it off. The company is called One Stop. They're from England. They produced the video game, as a matter of fact. And they're going to hate me if I got the name wrong. And they hired me. So I go down to the studio, and I'm Detective Isaac Washington.
Mm-hmm.
And that was about as much profanity as I've used in 6 hours. And you don't believe the profanity and the character wound up being nominated for, I didn't win, nominated for Best New Character in a Video Game. And in the Guinness Book of Records at that time, and that was 2011, for the most profanity in a video game. I have since been, and my girlfriend, who's a big churchgoer, she's like, "How could you do that?" Because I was working, right?
Yeah.
But I've since been displaced as far as the most profanity in a video game. Easily been displaced. But Isaac Washington was a lot of fun. And I found that gig on my own, and I've done maybe 3 other gigs for that same company. And what's really cool is when you do work, you don't know if it's good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You don't know. I try to raise my kids the same way. You don't know until someone tells you that you did good work.
Yeah.
Don't dislocate your shoulder patting yourself on the back because it doesn't go anywhere. And they must have liked what I did because they brought me back to 2 more times for 2 other gigs. I've done 3 jobs for them altogether. And kept in contact. And Anthony, we got something else going on. We might want to use you. Sometimes those little passing conversations like that don't turn into anything, but it's the thought that counts. You're on somebody's radar, and that's really cool.
Yeah, definitely.
That's so awesome. So it was the recording, because the game came out 2009, so I'm assuming they did the work in 2008. Did they have you go into a studio? Did they have you do that remote?
Went to a studio.
Nice.
And it's funny about the physicality of voiceover, because some people think it's easy. You got the script in front of you, but you have to act.
Yes.
Because the script, this is going to sound stupid. I'm not putting this the right way. You have to really act because the words are in front of you. And if you're not careful, you'll sound robotic because the words are right in front of you.
Yeah.
So there was a scene where Isaac Washington and my Detective K, Agent K, mind you, my partner, and we're on these motorcycles. And we're riding somewhere, and this girl's in the back, and she's a spy. We're trying to get her somewhere. Her name was Varla Guns, for more than one reason. So it was a play on, her physicality. So we're riding motorcycles, and to read the line, I jumped up and down on my toes and said, "Hey, wait a minute. What made you use a name like Varela Guns?" And the guy said, "Oh, shit. I wouldn't have thought to do that, Tony." So I'm just like, if it comes to you and it sounds good to you, do it. To anyone out there that gets involved in either film or VO, VO. If it seems good to you when you're recording or acting it out on film, try it. Because all the director can say is, "No." I've heard no. Anthony, good idea, but stick with the script.
Right.
Okay, you're the driver, I'm the passenger, let's go,
Right.
It was a really cool experience. I lost my voice for 2 days.
After doing that recording?
Because I had to over-enunciate. Everything was an over-enunciate. And he's not just cussing. He's cursing at the top of his lungs. MF, my balls, you mother... You know what I mean? 6 hours of this shit in between water breaks,
Right.
So it was a lot of fun, man. It was a lot of fun.
Oh, wow. But at that point, was that your first experience in the booth?
No. My first experience in a booth was... for a young lady named, when it comes to names, I almost have photographic memory. I don't know how long that'll last.
Good on you.
Na Ing. And just for shits and giggles, I sent her a digital Christmas card last year. And she was so appreciative of it. "Oh, how you doing, Anthony?" And she worked for Channel 13. This is my first paying gig, mind you. $140. So I couldn't get a babysitter for my youngest daughter. This is 2010. I think my little girl was 11 at the time, so couldn't get a babysitter. I was like, "I'm not going to leave you home. You'll probably burn the house down, and dog will try to save you, and he and you will both be burned alive. So let me just take you with me." So we get down to Channel 13. I don't know what I'm doing. This is my first gig. I have no idea what I'm doing, but I know how to be businesslike. That was just part of me as a kid growing up. I saw my family members act always in a businesslike way with other people, right? Okay. So, Miss Ing comes up to me and says, "Anthony, the little girl that was supposed to dub this voice, because it was called, oh God, it was about farmers in Africa who were being undercut. They couldn't sell their cotton because the United States was underwriting other cotton farmers in some kind of way. So the African farmers couldn't sell a dying breed, whatever it was, and they couldn't sell their cotton. So I had to dub the voice of this African farmer. The little girl who was supposed to play my daughter, for some reason, didn't show up.
Oh,
so
no.
Miss Ain comes up and says, Anthony, does your daughter? Sure, she does. She's I think she was like for something for Nickelodeon, not too lying like a Persian rug. You couldn't lie any more than that. But yes, my daughter can do it because she's my daughter and she can do it. She nailed those lines. I was scared. She nailed her lines so good it scared me. Went to school the next day and told her little schoolmates, you better talk to me soon because I'm about to be a star.
Oh my gosh.
That's awesome.
Paid her $40. Now you're 11 years old. Somebody gives you $40.
Oh yeah, super ecstatic.
Job that you did.
Oh my
right?
gosh.
You know, not just you're a cute little girl, but here's money. You know, Merry Christmas. You worked for it. And that first experience, she's 29 now, my youngest daughter. That first experience, she has never failed me yet. My other two, they need work, and I love them dearly, but the youngest one has never failed me from that moment until 29. And she has not missed a beat. She's a daughter any man would be proud of to have. And I was inspired by that. So I was like, yeah, that's pretty cool. You know, we did this together as father and daughter, and if we don't ever do anything like this again, we have this one on tape. You know?
Yeah.
Wow. Well, that's crazy.
Love it.
So, looking at further into your IMDb, so you jumped in from and again, from creditations in IMDb from House of the Dead, Overkill. You're in now GTA 4, which was a huge game when it came out. How'd you get there?
Craig's List.
No way.
Wow.
Guys, I know that for every one story where somebody finds a pot of gold and a leprechaun at the end of the rainbow, there are people who have been absolutely crapped on by Craigslist, and I get that. I just, one of the lucky percentage, I guess. So I go on like Grand Theft Auto. So I had to play this old man, and I'm chasing these kids off my lawn. Get the fuck off my lawn, god damn it, before I put some holes in you. And it was a lot of fun. So I got that through Craigslist as well. And you go in, and you know, my coworkers at my regular job are just thrilled by what I do.
Oh, sure.
And I always tell them, so listen, man, if you're a professional, you do a job that pays $10 the same way you do a job that pays $1,000. Otherwise, don't be in the business. Do
Right.
something else, right? They work for DoorDash. They need drivers. Do something else, but don't do VO if it's going to be about how much money you make. Everybody wants to get paid. I mean, let's be real. Landlords don't go for freebies. But my perspective to any young person listening to this podcast is, or even somebody my age getting ready to get started in it, no such thing as a sum zero approach. Because you ask for real, or it's pay, or it's the experience, and they can go on your resume. There's no such thing as some zero approach in this business. So everybody wants to get paid. Okay, if it's $25. I've gotten $25, and it made me feel like I had $250 in my pocket. But there's no such thing as some zero. It will go on your resume. Get a reel, or have the director, whatever, you know, put a link to it for you so that you can send a client, a potential customer, a client to that.
Right.
And that's your resume builder. Now I do my own. When I want to update my reel, do my own thing. It's a blast.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, the
You gotta
experience.
love it. You have to love it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, 100%.
How long did it take you to get used to hearing your own voice? Because I know that's a thing for some people.
I hate it. I never have. Elizabeth Taylor said she never watched her movies.
Sure.
Imagine seeing yourself on screen with a 50-foot head. Oh God, look at the zits. You know, so she never got used to that. None of them really do. And I try not to listen to my own stuff.
Right.
And I think the majority of us are like that for some, self-condescending reason, But
Yeah.
if it's something I really, really, wow, I like listening to that because I have those. And it's like I'll listen to it on repeat, and it's like I was the shit that day. Then there's others where it's like, oh my god, yeah, the gun followed by rope, followed by poison. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, at some point you made a leap from VO and you started doing in real life acting. I'll just call it real life, just because I mean VO is still acting in itself, but as in physically being present in front of the camera. How hard was that transition to go from one to the other? Or were you just kind of doing it all at the same time?
Not at all.
Not at all.
Not at all hard. Some some of my very best acting was not as an actor, as in, I come home late and the ex-wife used to say, "Where were you? Because I called you at 8 o'clock. You didn't pick up your phone." I didn't go to the racetrack. I swear to God, I didn't go to the racetrack. And there's the losing tickets falling out your pockets. Okay, I was at OTB. Shoot me. So that was my first acting job, trying to convince my wife I wasn't at the track.
Yeah.
The same gentleman I mentioned before, Sandy Gunner, he it was very arbitrary. I was going to pick up a check for a job I had done. And he says, "You know what? You're not half bad looking. I'm going to submit you for some on-camera stuff. Are you okay with that?" I don't have a shy bone in my body. I'm like Captain Extrovert. And I said, "Sure, let's go for it. The least I can do is make a fool of myself. We'll see where it goes." And that was it. And on camera, just filmed something Friday. I played this guy's father. I had to use the best Jamaican accent I could because they wanted me to use a Jamaican accent. I have a Jamaican bone in my body, but they wanted me to use that accent.
Nice.
And on camera is an awful lot of fun. I've done a lot of background, and background is so much joy. The people you meet. And, "Oh, yeah, I work for that PA. He's a jerk, right? Oh, super jerk." Or you have a nice experience and you talk about that actor that you work with. And background is so much fun, And believe me, the typical background job out of an 8-hour gig, you work hardcore, maybe 5 hours. The rest is camera crew setting up shots and everything. So
Right.
then I started to learn that side of it. And you're looking behind the camera and you're watching and stuff. So it's really a nice experience. Hell of a transition because it goes from being atypical, being in your sound booth and it's just you, and it's like the aliens are coming across the horizon. The army is barely holding them back. Their weapons have no effect on their shields. They're impenetrable. And then you go and you're on screen and it's like, I did Luke Cage from Marvel. I watched them build Pop's barbershop.
Oh, wow.
A toothpick to a barbershop.
Yeah.
I saw them turn day into night, night into day with this huge 50-foot thingamajig and with the sky. And I'm like, it's fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
This is
magical.
Movie magic. Yep.
Absolutely.
Yep. That phrase is very underscored, So yeah, that's just what all started on somebody's idea for me to put this face on camera. So
Just to give you all a heads up, we're about 15 minutes in. I've been kind of hogging the spotlight. Dorino, do you have any questions?
I'm kind of glad because you've just been going down the line, like,
Yeah.
So that leads into what I'm curious about. So I see that you have made you went from voice acting to on-screen acting to being an author. How in the world did writing a book fall into your lap?
if I tried to describe to you my sister and my upbringing, you'd call me a liar. I don't think anything is perfect. I'm pretty sure of that. I know no one is perfect. I'm pretty sure of that. My sister and I had a perfect upbringing. My father's side of the family adored us. I was raised by my mother's side of the family. Adored us. Did we get disciplined? Sure. Why'd you throw water on your sister? I don't know. Don't knock the slats out the bed. Okay, Grandma. Boing, boing, boom. Discipline. Every time I got cut with that strap, I had it coming. So, the aspect of childhood, because mine was absolutely great, stayed with me through adulthood. I love kids. I said, you know what? I have some ideas for a children's book. And in those days, in the 90s, if you did a children's book, you had to go get pressure sensitive labels, and then you had to rub them onto the white background, and then take them to a copier, and then shrink. And now computers have all that stuff built in.
Sure.
And I had written, I'm about to have something self-published called Who's Your Daddy? The Misadventures of Mike and Spike.
Yeah.
And it's about these two sperm cells that find this ovary. And both of them feel entitled to it. And rather than strangle each other to death, they try to figure out, well, okay, we're different from each other, right? But we're kind of the same in a lot of ways, except for how we look. Maybe we can kind of like work something out. So they turn the egg into a piece of furniture, and they live on the egg, and they discuss politics and life and God, if there is a God, you know, war, and why do human beings suck so much, even though we invented the airplane. You know what I'm saying? Human beings, right? We suck so much. We invented the airplane. So the airplane defies gravity. So man, there's something good with people too. So these two sperm cells try to work it out, and probably be ready for like mass distribution somewhere around Christmas time. Took me a year to self-publish. I didn't know, man.
Wow.
I didn't know when you go outside the regular channels where you get an advance for $75,000 and you go to the Champs-Elysees in France and buy drinks for everybody and blow your advance and stuff like that the traditional way. Self-publishing, man, rewarding, sure. Expensive. Don't count those fillings in your teeth, I'm telling you, you know.
Yeah.
Well, that's where the writing started. Everything started because I love kids and I thought I had great stories to tell for children's books. And then I wrote a play. My oldest girl said, Daddy, you can write a play. I said, no, I can't. Daddy, you can write poetry. No, I can't. I wound up writing this book called Things to Read Before You Sleep.
Okay.
30 of the nicest, I won't call it outright poetry. It's poetry, it's prose, it's limericks. One of the limericks is Joshua Jonathan Jason McGee. A giant Irishman, right? And it's about how he takes on this storm and nobody in the town can beat the storm but him and stuff like that. And then like, wow, let me write another one. Let me write another one. Let me write another one. Not half bad. And my oldest girl said, Daddy, you ever try to write a play? No. Why don't you try to write a play, Daddy? Shit. Why not? So I wrote a play called Back to Back. It was about this couple who's having marriage problems. They go to this marriage counselor. She sits behind this big see-through, well, it's like a big white partition.
Yeah.
And she's lit from the back, so her shadow is like menacing. And all you see is her shadow through this behind this white partition. And she has the couple stand back to back. Like they're like, and then she says, ring time, and they start talking about what they don't like about each other, but never facing each other the whole time. Yeah. And they start at one end of the stage, and then they back up into each other. And the art director, after the first performance, said, I've never seen a stage performance set up like that before. That's really unique. I knew I was onto something.
Yeah.
Problem was, the guy that I wrote the part for, he was absolutely the guy I wrote the part for. Tall, good-looking guy, clean, and the kind of guy that would adjust his tie every time he walks into a room.
Yeah.
And he got on that stage. Now, mind you, this is at the Producers Club downtown. My peers are there. My co-workers, my kids, my girlfriend's on this side, my mother's on this side, my kids are sitting behind me. And the guy I wrote the play for, I did him an injustice because he wasn't an actor, but he had the look, and he had the persona, and he had the swagger.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was really who he was. So he gets on stage, crickets, stage fright.
Oh, no.
45-minute performance, 35-minute performance, totally stage fright. And I keep thinking to myself, if I focus hard enough, the floor will open and I'll fall down into this well of infinity and not have to be here. Because my girlfriend's asking me, what's wrong with him, Tony? And my mother's asking me, what's wrong with him, Tony? And I don't know. He's stage front. Couldn't remember his lines. Sunday's performance. This was for the, oh, good God. Drawing blanks all over the place. It was for a performance of plays. It was a competition for performance of plays. I wish I could think of the name of the competition.
Okay.
And we made it to the semifinals. Sunday's performance. I'm picking up. Now, there's the Dominican parade going down 6th Avenue. This is all I need, right? Because I'm picking up the headshots at the last minute. I wrote it, directed it, produced it, bought the props and everything. Did the rehearsals as best we could. I'll never do that again. That was a heart attack. So I get to the producers club and we're setting everything up. 20 minutes before showtime, and I'm talking to the two females in the play. They've got their acting down pat. They've got their lines memorized. They didn't blow a single line. I wrote it, and I could remember the lines sometimes. 15 minutes before curtain, and we're talking. 10 minutes before curtain. Now I'm outside. Yeah, dude, listen, when you get this message, call me because it is 10 minutes before showtime. Are you stuck in traffic?
Oh, no.
5 minutes before showtime. You've never seen me perspire so much in your life. Dude, hey, look, come on, man. I mean, you know, where are you? Are you on the train or where are you? The art director comes outside. Anthony, it's showtime. Where's your guy? I don't know. And the two girls, the two women, are asking me constantly, what are you going to do, Tony? You ever had somebody ask you that question and you have no effing idea what you're going to do?
Oh, it's frustrating.
And the answer came down to one simple thing. You're going to have to do it yourself, aren't you? Yeah. But you don't want to do it, do you? No. You want to sit in the audience and enjoy it with everybody else, don't you? Yeah. You're tired from all this running around, aren't you? Mm-hmm. You just want to relax and enjoy the, accolades. Yeah. So there I am on stage in my own play. Mind you, I have forgotten most of the dialogue because I'm stressed now. So the two ladies got me through it. Nice performance. The audience stood up for us and clapped.
Oh,
that's
so
awesome.
we came back, curtain call and bow, and the whole Broadway thing. And after the show, because my buddy's name was on the program, right? Because we didn't know he wasn't going to show up. He came up to me and said, Mr. Simmons, do you sing professionally? Oh no. I'll chase the rats out the building. But I guess because of how I sounded on stage, they thought I'd sang. But it was really, really cool. And I'll tell you this, and sorry for dragging this out.
No, you're fine.
I couldn't understand. Again, I'm extroverted. And I thought he was Johnny Cool. And it turned out he was just not a ruse, but he just couldn't do that thing I asked him to do. And I'm thinking to myself, I just held 100 people hostage because you can't hit the pause button and go get a Heineken and come back and then a peanut butter sandwich.
Right.
It's stage. You can't rewind. I just held 100 people hostage. Oh my God, that felt good. Stage turned me into a beast. It was so much fun. It really was. It really was. It's not for everybody, it can it can get to you in the stomach, but it was a hell of an incredible experience. And he and I joke about it till this day. I love him a lot, like a second brother, and he's a lot of fun. And but he couldn't do what I asked him to do, and that really wasn't indicative of being his fault or mine. I just thought he could do it.
Gotcha.
Sure.
I've been a pretty full circle.
Yeah. Wow. It's just incredible to see your journey. I mean, I've done a lot of community theater. I've done a lot of stage stuff too. And I transitioned from the stage stuff actually to in here. So I totally understand the feeling of being in front of the people and them getting into the story too. So you're in good company on that part. We're about 5 minutes left in the show. So Real quick, Anthony, I'm going to ask you a couple questions that I tend to ask all of our guests. If you were able to go back to the very, very beginning of when you started doing voice acting, what advice would you have for yourself?
First and foremost, set yourself up in a place that's equitable to good sound and recording, because you can have an absolute Sennheiser from here to there, $4,000 piece of equipment. But if you don't have the right acoustics and sound baffling around you, it's not going to work. You know?
Yeah. What's worse,
That's the
those
first
really
thing.
good mics will pick up all of the bad stuff that you have more than what. Yeah, 100%. I've been down that road. I completely understand. Very good advice. How about, what answer is your standard answer for, like, how do I get into voice acting or how do I get into acting? What do you tell the average Joe that comes up to you and asks you the question?
I have a friend that I hope this isn't mistake number 2 that I want to put in a short film, a comedy that I'm writing right now. Love screenwriting. I live for writing. And I told them, I said, here's what I want you to do. I want you to go to any search engine, go to a site where you can download free screenplays and focus on one character and try to get under the skin of that character. So I would tell anybody that wants to get into voiceover, practice makes perfect before you go looking for an agent, which, mind you, you don't really need at the beginning. What you need is to build up a client base. Practice, because people will tell you, you sound great. Lots of people do, right? But you have to practice at being good at what you do. The more you do it, the better you become at it. So I would say practice any kind of, even reading from just a standard novel. Read that novel out loud and realize how you mispronounce certain words. It's like, man, you'd be surprised at the words you mispronounce and you think you're pronouncing them right.
Yeah.
So I would say just practice out the gate and get yourself under the skin of what it means, to hear your own voice and to read out loud. That's what VO is. And bring yourself along slowly from there. And definitely get somebody to train you. You don't want somebody to operate on you and doesn't know, yes, I'm an open heart surgeon. I'm a part-time plumber. I've seen heart surgery on TV.
Yeah. No, totally. Yeah. Wow. Very, very, very well said. Absolutely. Dorino.
I am still in bewilderment as to how we just passed an entire hour, because I feel
Me
like it's
too.
been like 10 minutes,
Yes.
and I have so many more questions for you, but
Ah,
I will leave it at this question. What is your favorite pizza topping?
Every time.
cheese. Just
Cheese.
extra cheese. Yeah, just extra cheese because you know what? Let me redact that. Chicken.
Oh, okay.
Fascinating. Breaded or
Yeah,
unbreaded? I'm curious.
Unbreaded. And if you had asked me that question, Dorino, my youngest is my timeline for a lot of things. If you had asked me when she was 1, I would have said pepperoni. I haven't eaten red meat of any kind, nothing with a hoof. No red meat whatsoever.
Yeah.
And she's 29, so that's 28 years.
Wow.
Wow.
Congratulations.
Having dinner
That's
with
good.
the family. My son's sitting here. He was 8 at the time. My youngest is sitting across from me. Mother's rattling the pots and pans. Family hour. My oldest girl, who's been a vegan since she was 6. She will not eat meat of any kind since she was 6. And she's a grown woman now.
Yeah.
And she said, Daddy, that was probably somebody's mother. I took the steak
Oh,
from my son's plate.
yeah.
And that was 28 full years ago, and I have not touched the steak. And I'm the kind of guy that would get out of bed at 3 in the morning to go to the 24-hour store, roast beef, American cheese, extra mayonnaise, oil, vinegar, salt, pepper.
Ooh.
That order. At 3 in the morning.
Yeah.
But whatever girl was dating at the time, I said, where you going? I got to get a roast beef sandwich. And now I look back at that and I'm like, wow. I ate that baseball glove back then. And to anybody who loves steak, I'm not judging at all. That's not my deal.
Right.
But
Just not for
it
you.
would have been pepperoni 28 years ago.
Wow. Real quick, I want to acknowledge people in chat are saying that they love your stories. They're also saying hashtag read to your kids as practice. We plugged your book. We saw it, and if you've got a Kindle, you can download it. So don't be afraid to do that. They're even asking for a second interview. So later, if you get an opportunity, we'd love to bring you back.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'd love to be back, man. You guys were a lot of fun.
Oh, good. I'm glad to hear that. Well, with that said and done, Anthony, I appreciate your time again. Thank you for donating an hour of your knowledge and your lovely stories to hear your journey through this great.
Thank you very much for having me. I appreciate it, guys.
Yeah, no problem.
Sure.
Again, thank you everybody that's been here, Magmorta, Fire and Brimstone, anybody who was there, those of you that are lurking, a big thank you to that. If you've gotten this far into the episode, please leave a like and subscribe. These are free things on YouTube. Don't be afraid. And if you can give us like a comment where you're coming from, what was your favorite part of the show, we'd love to see it and we'd love to respond. So don't be too afraid. Yeah. If you have any comment, anything you want us to talk about, any topics, email us, coldreadthepodcast@gmail.com, or you can go ahead and join our Discord. We have a network of individuals, of guests and friends that we've had. If you have a question, we will try to find you the answer as best as we can. So don't be afraid to do that. Fire and Brimstone says, no, thank you, broadcast. If you have any audio, we want to hear your audio. We want to have an opportunity to give productive feedback. So again, you can submit it in Discord itself. You can email it to us. Either way, we'd absolutely love to hear it. Yeah. My turn on the intro for next week. So this is, I'm not cheating this time. I've already
no chat GBT things, you bastard.
Hey, I was sick. Give me a break.
I know.
Hopefully we'll get Renara back next time. So until then, ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead and have a great day. Hope you all have a good week, and we'll see you next Sunday. Bye,
Okay, guys.
Bye-bye. Remember to drink your water.
There it is.
Absolutely.
Oh, no.
We lost him. Okay, recording is off.
Okay.
We're good. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go ahead and log off on the stream. Thank you again, everybody. Thanks for being there. Good old microwaves for those that are still watching. Vinny is kind of in between. There is. Talk to y'all later.
I'm somewhere.
Yeah. Bye.